What's going on, people? Welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV, back with another live stream. Happy Friday, people. The weekend is upon us again. Premier League action is back. And obviously, the morning after the night before, or the afternoon after the night before, 2-2 draw away at Sporting Lisbon, Europa League. Got to be honest, I think in the end we were quite fortunate to leave there with a draw. If that game went different, we could have been having Arsenal therapy today. Fortunately, we get out of there with a draw. We bring them back to the Emirates next Thursday. I'm reasonably happy with that. You know, a lot of times I would be complaining about drawing a game. But I think when you look at that game back, we were quite fortunate to get out of there with a draw. And I think we've got a great opportunity to get through next Thursday. One thing I will say is, if the manager is serious about winning this competition, as he keeps saying, I think personally he's going to have to play a stronger lineup as this competition progresses. I don't personally think that Arsenal are good enough to win the Europa League with heavy rotation. I think you saw that yesterday, you know, 6 changes. It definitely affected us. So you look at Manchester United last night, they were at full strength. Juventus were at full strength. I think if you really want to win this competition, you've got to go stronger. This is not the same level of competition as it was in the group stage. So if he wants to win it, I think you've got to go stronger. If you're not bothered about it, then it is what it is. So that would be my advice to the manager. Big up Luke, who said, yes, Curtis, if we are serious about winning it, you've got to play the best 11, or certainly a lot closer to it. I don't think you can make 6 changes. Full strength this Thursday, says Patrick. Smooth one, Jay. Arsenal reflection. Yeah, this is a recovery session, people. You know, like when you've had a tough game the night before and you just stretch the legs a little bit. It's just one of them. It's not Arsenal therapy. I'm actually quite happy that we drew that game in the end because, you know, I think we could have quite easily lost that game. And as I said, it's a team that has fallen out of the Champions League. You make a good point here, Enos. He said, to be fair, United and Juve don't have to win the title. That's true. But Man United are competing in 3 different, or maybe 2 different competitions, and they've won 1. I think we can afford to go strong in 2 competitions. Alexis Sanchez, baby. I know, listen, it's still a fragile topic to discuss, but still for me, one of my favourite players that I've seen play for Arsenal. So every now and then he might pop up on a green screen on a Friday. He was a special player, I can't lie. We've barely played any games compared to the others. I mean, you look at it. We went out the Carabao Cup in the first round. The FA Cup, we went out that quickly. I think we only played Oxford and then Man City. So we can't use this excuse that we've played too much football. We need a squad that's capable. But anyway, it is what it is, people. Let's get into today's show. Before we do get into today's show, we are now officially live on TikTok. I've taken the plunge. A lot of people have been saying to me for a long time, you got to get a TikTok account. I don't really like TikTok. I'm not even going to lie. But this short game is very important. Shorts on YouTube, the Clips channel on YouTube, TikTok as well. You know, and people are putting out my reactions on TikTok and getting loads of views, so I got to do it myself. Inflation is real, people. You heard me tell Cruz last night, you got to turn that heating off, bro. It's £1,000 a minute right now. So it's just Curtis Shaw TV. Type it in, follow. We're going to get loads of stuff on there. Like I said, it's not really for me. I'm not going to be particularly active on there in terms of interaction, but I am going to throw stuff on there, man. The game is the game. Fran, the game is the game, you know. You got to work with it. People are getting big deals and stuff off there, so I'm just going to throw up reactions on there. If you look at the way I've done the video, half of the screen is me, and the other half, you can actually show the goal on there without copyright and stuff. So, listen, man, don't hate the player, hate the game, you know. So, I'm in TikTok. Follow me on there, Curtis Shaw TV, people. Your channel will bloom because of TikTok, and that's all it is. It's just about driving traffic towards the YouTube channel. So, yeah, man, go and follow me on there. I will be active on there in terms of uploading content, people. Anyway, let's talk about yesterday's game. Let's do player ratings. And I'll be honest with you, I had to watch the extended highlights this morning because I was genuinely like, I'm not sure how to rate a lot of these players. I was a little bit unsure of how some of the players had played, so I had to watch a lot of it back. Salman said you need a Curtis Shaw management team. Bro, I'm telling you, genuinely, it's so difficult. And I'm one of these people, I don't like, just to put it into context, if you message me on social media or you message me on YouTube, write a comment, or I read everything. And I don't like to be one of these channels where I'm not replying to people. I find it rude. But it genuinely gets to a point where you're like, there's 200 comments on a YouTube video, there's loads of emails, and you're like, I can't reply to everyone, and I hate it. I genuinely want to reply to everyone. So anybody who messages me, I read it, honestly. I try to respond to most people on YouTube, because that's the priority one. But anyway, let's talk about this game last night. Sporting Lisbon 2, Arsenal 2. Saliba with a goal, Morita with an own goal, Inacio and Paulinho with the goals for Sporting Lisbon. 10 shots for them, 6 on target, 14 for Arsenal, 7 on target, 68% possession, 32% possession for the Arsenal. I got to be honest, I don't think those stats necessarily reflect the game if you didn't watch it. You would look at those stats and go, oh, Arsenal were pretty much dominant there. But it was a lot closer. I felt they had a lot of good chances. So I'm not, and like Ben's saying here, I just don't understand at the moment why we're conceding chances so easily. Listen, last night's game, I'm a lot more calm than people expect me to be. People thought this was going to be Arsenal therapy and I'd be having meltdowns. I'm not, because I do look at the context of the game, of the team selection, and I do think we were playing against a much better team than people thought we were playing against. But what I will say, and as I keep saying, if Arteta wants to win this competition, you can't put that starting 11 out yesterday. You ain't winning it. You're not winning that competition with that starting 11. Big up Christian, who said he got engaged last night. Big up the C-Unit community. Bo! Big up yourself, bro. Big man moves, you know. Big up yourself. Get saving for that wedding, bro. It ain't cheap. Richard Reedy said, big up Big CR defending on set pieces is suspect. Players standing around ball watching have to stick to their men. You're right, bro. Big up Alfred with the super chat. I'm sorry, Curtis, but Sanchez got to go. RVP actually wanted to stay. Sanchez forced his way out and snaked us for the team. RVP, I hear you. It's a touchy subject. I'm going to do some streams. We'll talk about that during the international break. I hear you, but Alexis, man, that was the guy, man. That was the guy. Let's do the player ratings, people. And again, I'm leaning on the community. 2 bits of information before we look at the Arsenal team. Morita, who scored the own goal, Granit Xhaka's shot that was going wide, hit him and went in. Him and Coates are both suspended for the game back at the Emirates next weekend. So Morita and Coates are both suspended. And they won't play against Arsenal next week. Shaquille, did you see the Bournemouth watch-along clips? Gunnar Tarb's channel, quality, brilliant. He did reach out to me, man. Get back in touch, bro. Get back in touch. So, yeah, 2 players out suspended for them. So, let's get into the Arsenal team. And again, I'm going to be totally honest. I watched the extended highlights, but I'm leaning on the community again. I'm in the booth with no lyrics. We're freestyling here. Some of my opinions might be controversial. You know me, I don't mix it. I've got no agenda against any Arsenal player. I say it as I see it. Sometimes you watch a player and you say to yourself, I don't think this guy played very well. And then somebody will send you some stats, completed passes and dribbles and that, and go, oh, he played well, look at the stats. And I'm like, just go off the eye test. Let's talk about those stats later on. Let's just go off the eye test. Did he play well or not? If he did, fair play. If he didn't, then no. A lot of you have been messaging me about tickets. At the moment, people, I'm going to be totally honest. I'm not the guy to go to for tickets. I'm going to keep it 100. I share a season ticket with someone. He goes most weeks because obviously I'm doing live watch-alongs. Outside of that, I know 1 or 2 people that occasionally throw their ticket out there, but at the moment it's so difficult to get hold of a ticket. And we're going to talk about tickets later in the show as well. Amaru said, seeing Vieira for the first time last night. Damn, your man's light. Damn, your man's lighter than me, but he tried though, Big C. Did you see Arteta shouting at Blanco? Man was tired, Amaru. Yeah, I did. Shouting at Ben White, throwing his arms up at Martinelli. He was not happy. We'll talk about Vieira in these player ratings. Big up Snake Eyes. Call it what it is. The second 11 for this team is not good enough. We need quality in the Champions League next season. Big up Snake Eyes. Hope you're well, bro. Thank you for your support as always. And like I said, next year will be a lot different because Europa League you can rotate and get through in the group stage. Champions League, you're not getting away with this. We need a second 11 that is at a strong level because you can get smashed in the Champions League if you're not up to it. Remember, Arsenal are a second seed in the Champions League next season, which means first round, we could get Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, PSG in the group stage. So Tarb said, the highlight clip I made of you is popping right now. I don't know if you remember, we spoke, I uploaded that video today. I have 120 views. Bro, shout me. Drop me an email, please. Because your edit was brilliant. And I saw it on Suggested. And I was like, rah, he's got talent, man. Let's talk. But anyway, let's get into the player ratings. What's love got to do with it? Who needs a heart when a heart can be broken? Oh, what's a clean sheet got to do with it? Who wants to keep a clean sheet when I just concede goals? I'm sorry, Matt. But for the foreseeable future, I will not be calling him Matt. We're going back to Tina. Sorry, it's banter. Not everyone will like it, but I'm sorry. Tina Turner would have probably done more in goal yesterday. Maybe she could have started singing and put the striker off. Matty Turner. Tina Turner. Listen, and I'm sorry, and I say this all the time. No agendas. No agendas. Boy's not happy with the singing. Sorry, fella. I'll try, though. I'll try. That first goal is two people's fault. He has to come and get it. If a corner gets whipped in and it's in the middle of the 6-yard box and your goalkeeper hasn't come for it, something's seriously wrong. Something's seriously wrong. He made a few good saves, but he's got to come and get it. He then gives the ball away, stitches up Saliba. You know, if the guy doesn't have a heavy touch, it's a second goal. It's another big mistake. Let me say something about Turner, right? He's not a bad goalkeeper. I'm going to be totally honest. But I'm not sure he suits the way we play football. Now, we clearly want to play out from the back. We want a goalkeeper like Ederson, like Ramsdale. Really good with the ball at their feet. They can pass. Turner, to me, doesn't look comfortable on the ball. He doesn't look comfortable on the ball. I mean, I don't want to destroy him. I don't. But I'm going to be kind. I'm going to give him a 5. I'm going to give him a 5 because he made a few good saves. But I'm sorry. If Aaron Ramsdale gets injured for any decent amount of time, we're in big trouble. Because he can't play out from the back with the ball at his feet. Leno got sold because he wasn't good with the ball at his feet. And Leno was a fantastic shot stopper, by the way. 5 is too generous. You could say 4.5. 4.5, 5. I don't think he's good enough. I'm going to be totally honest. I say it as I see it. I say it as I see it. I don't think he's good enough. If Burnt Leno was sold because he's not good enough on the ball, then there's no way Matt Turner's good enough. If Ramsdale was injured for a long time, I don't think Turner is good enough to be number 1. I just don't think he is. And I know he hasn't played that many games, and I know he did decent in the World Cup, but sometimes you don't get many opportunities at big clubs to prove yourself, people. Look at Dubravka. He went to Man United after 6 months. They sent him back to Newcastle. They saw him play twice, said, that's it, not for me. No messing around. We ain't got time to get... There's no sympathy at the top level. If you're good enough, then cool. You play, bro, but you're not going to get loads of games for Arsenal because Ramsdale's clearly number one. You got to prove yourself. So, listen, it is what it is, people. I'm 4.5, 5 for me, I'm afraid. I wasn't impressed. Made a few good saves. Cool, good saves. But his passing out from the back is not good enough. It's not good enough at all. So turn off 4.5, 5, somewhere around there, people. Let's go to the back four. Let's go to the back four. A big up, Steve, for becoming a member as well. Big up to you. Hussein said, don't be too harsh. Not easy to have good goalkeepers as your backup. It's not, but at the same time, you need to have somebody that you can trust if your number one goalkeeper gets injured. Snake Eye said, I'm vexed that brother is not good enough. 4 out of 10, get him out of here. The USA player from the back and Turner looked all right. I think the defence was shaky. Yeah, possibly, but he's got to do better. Anyway, let's move on. Let's go to the back four. Benny Blanco, a.k.a. Benny White. I don't think anybody in the back four was terrible. I'm probably going to... Well, the debutant might not get a good rating, but I'll probably give Ben White a 6. I think he was average. I don't think he played that bad. Manager shouted at him once. I don't know what he was shouting at him for. I thought he was all right. I can't remember anything he did particularly wrong. I think on the second goal, him and Saliba, striker gets in between both of them. Neither of them seem to know that the striker's there, which is poor. So probably lucky. I'm giving him a 6 just about. So it's Friday, people. We're in a good mood. Let's go to William Saliba. Saliba, for me, was our best defender. The one thing that brings his rating down a little bit, again, it was him and Ben White that got done for the second goal. Should have both understood that the striker was there. However, in a disjointed back four, I thought Saliba was our best defender. He scored a goal. I would possibly give him man of the match, you know, but the goal pulls him down. I'd probably give him a 7.5. I wouldn't give him an 8 purely because of the goal, but I'd give him a 7.5. He was quality, and he had a centre-back next to him that ultimately was making his debut, and it was not easy for him. You know, it's not easy, and centre-backs definitely, your performance can get pulled down by the guy playing next to you. I'm not saying that's what happened, but it's not easy. Saliba is still a young player himself, and he was probably expected to lead that central defensive pairing. So I'm going to give him a 7.5. Saliba, for me, is man of the match, by the way. I thought he did well. And it wasn't easy. I thought our defence was being pulled all over the place at times yesterday. You look at that chance they had early in the game. Jorginho was playing at right back. So Saliba gets a 7.5 for me. Let's go to Jakub Kiwior. Listen, for me, people can say it's his debut and all of that, and I understand that. But it doesn't mean I'm not going to rate you based off what I saw because it's your first game. I'm telling you now, no manager is going to look and go, oh, don't worry, it's only his first game. It's all right, mate. Yeah, he ducked his head down. Hey, don't mind, it's only his first game. Don't worry about it. It doesn't work like that. Overall, I'm not saying not good enough. I'm not saying finished, blah, blah, blah. I'm saying what I saw yesterday, ducking down from the header is unacceptable at any level. Trust me. Now, I know Matt Turner as the goalkeeper, 6-yard box, you're supposed to come out and catch it. Some people are saying Turner might have shouted away. He might have shouted for it. Who knows? Let me tell you something. As a centre-back, if that ball is coming on your head, right, getting crossed in and you can head it away, even if the goalkeeper's shouting at the top of his voice, head the ball out, ask questions later. Head it away, out for a throw-in. Turner will say, bro, I shouted for it. All right, no problem, but the ball's out for a throw-in. What you don't do is duck down thinking that the keeper's got it. The guy heads it in and you've conceded a goal. So for me, that is unacceptable defending. I don't know if he's going to be good enough overall. He might be. But for me, he gets a 4 out of 10, people. I'm going to be honest. That Kiwi was not ripe yesterday. That Kiwi was not ripe. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry, you don't duck down. I thought I was watching the Mighty Ducks from back in the day, people. I thought he had an okay game outside of that. But as we were saying, the Kiwi wasn't ripe. Go and speak to Keown and Adams and Steve Bold. I know they're not the defenders nowadays. You head the ball first, you ask questions later. That goal for me is avoidable. It's totally avoidable. The keeper is behind the defender, so the defender should deal with it first. The keeper, yeah, come and get it. I don't want to write him off. I'm not saying he can't be a good player for us. A lot of players came to the club, started off slow. But ducking your head down, I'm sorry. That's unacceptable. If Cruz did that in a kid's game, standing at the near post, in the car, I'd be asking serious questions of what he was doing. And he's a striker. So a £20 million centre-back ducking his head down, I'm sorry. 4 out of 10. The fruit was not ripe. That Kiwi was not ready. So, yeah, people saying I'm being charitable, 4 out of 10. He did look good in the under-23, still learning. That's fine, but this ain't an apprenticeship. This ain't the nursery. If he needs to learn, play in more under-23 games. We're in the knockout stages of the Europa League. He's not a write-off, but that was a poor mistake. Let's go to Zinchenko at left-back. I don't think Zinchenko played that well yesterday, I've got to be honest. I always think sometimes when you're looking at... Oh, you know what? I'm actually quiet on the touchlines. You're not allowed to say too much, but yeah, I wish I could. Robbie gave Kivior a 7. Nah, surely not. He's got to be bantering. Zinchenko, for me, has a lot of responsibility on his shoulders because a lot of the passing, everything seems to go through him. He drops into the middle. We give him the ball all the time. He played a fantastic pass into Martinelli. Martinelli's just got to roll that across to Fabio Vieira, and it's a goal. I thought Marcus Edwards was one of their best players who played against Zinchenko. So that doesn't reflect well on him. But because we rely on him so much... I'll give him a 6. I'll still give him a 6. I think we're putting a lot of responsibility on his shoulders. I got to be honest, dropping into midfield, he's consistently the one on the ball. And he should have had an assist if Martinelli scores. He is a key figure in this team. He's a key figure. Bleck said the mistake was playing Turner and Kiwi. Arteta Costas, he made Saliba look like he was lost in Portugal. Zinny, 3 out of 10. Wow, that's harsh, Nick. Zinny is too emotional at times. Jorginho calmed him down. 6 for Zinny. Anwar said, I'm generous today. Fair enough. Let's go into the midfield. Let's start with Jorginho. I thought he was pretty average yesterday. In fact, I would say he was below average. Now, Jorginho has been good since he's come to Arsenal. I'm going to be honest. But I think you saw in games like yesterday why I still believe that Arsenal need a midfielder like a Caicedo, because we don't have energy in there. You need energy. You look at teams that win titles, you've got runners in there. You've got people that can move. Jorginho and Xhaka, I mean, listen, I think a lot of us in the comments could run through them. I thought Jorginho was poor. I thought he was not poor, but I thought he was below average. I don't think he got on the ball enough. I would probably give him a 5. Yeah, he had a caravan on his back earlier on, man. He could not catch that brother. Nowhere near him. I'd probably give him a 5, people. What would you give Jorginho? Nomad said Zinny played like a guy who was told he had the day off. Hendaguna says 4 for Jorginho. Nick says 5. Jorginho says 5. Public and me says 5, sorry. They got rammed through easily, 4. Big up Jorginho. He didn't lose the ball yesterday, but we need Caicedo, no doubt. Jorginho needs to start having prime. Pat says 5.5. Snailino says LD. Cap says 5, and the Bang says 5 as well. Denko says 3. Wow. Let's talk about Granit Xhaka. I think Granit Xhaka yesterday was one of our better players. I think he was quite solid. Won the ball back a few times. It was given as an own goal, but it was his shot. That's why I always say you got to shoot. You never know what's going to happen. I'm going to give Granit Xhaka a 7. I thought he played well. Didn't get booked. Played the full 90 minutes. I thought he had a decent game. Listen, naturally, him and Jorginho are not going to be the most mobile. Jorginho came off. He then put Smith Rowe next to him. We just looked disjointed at times yesterday. I've got to be honest. So yeah, I thought Xhaka had a good game. Gunnar Roller said, well said, Big C. When Zinni can be with Zinni, it can be a double-edged sword. When he's on song, he's amazing. Equally, when he's shocking, he's not having a good game. I think there's such a heavy reliance on him. And he's a left-back, ultimately, that you're going to have those situations at times. You know, if his passing's not working, you know that defensively, Zinchenko is not a world beater. Big up, Curtis. I looked at that midfield, then predicted 3-0 to Sporting, so we probably got away with it. Let's move on to Fabio Vieira. I need to take a sip. For a couple of reasons, right? I'm going to add balance. I came away from the game last night thinking, still not impressed by him. And I'm going to be honest. I'm not convinced by Fabio Vieira. Can he prove himself? Yeah, of course. He signed a 5-year contract. Watch back the highlights. He had a few good moments, right? He had a few good moments. Corner whipped in for the goal. Could have scored if Martinelli passed to him. Couple of shots. So I'm not going to annihilate him. There was worse players than him. Jorginho was worse than Fabio Vieira. Kivior was worse than Fabio Vieira. Saka was worse than Fabio Vieira. So for me, one thing I don't like, two things. Loses the ball easily and he's lightweight. He does have talent. He does have good little moments. But I'm not convinced at the moment. I'm just not. For me, I'm struggling. I'm giving him a 6. There was a lot of split decisions and judgments of him on social media last night. What it is with him, when I watch him, I'm not looking at him thinking, I'm convinced at some stage you can get into this team. I don't know how he gets in the Arsenal team. I just don't. I think Latte said it yesterday. Pepe's better than him. I know Pepe costs double the price. But I don't know. I don't know what I'm expecting from him, to be honest. 35 million. He was compared to Bernardo Silva. He's just so lightweight for me. He's so lightweight. I don't know. I don't know. That's all I can say, people. I don't know. Needs a loan, get Maddison. I mean, I'd take Maddison for him. He ended the game playing up front. And he lost the ball every time. Now, that's not his fault. He can't play up front. What? I didn't understand that. Now, that tells you that Arteta was not happy with Martinelli because he moved Martinelli left and put him up top. I don't know with Fabio. I honestly don't. I said at the start of the season that 35 million should have gone on another position, but he's at the club. He's got time. We'll have to see. Why is he playing up top for the last 10 minutes? He will become the next Bruno Fernandes. I'm not sure. I think Bruno's levels above him, if I'm being honest. Vieira, okay, 6 out of 10. Listen, he wasn't terrible last night at all. I'm not saying he was. He was definitely nowhere near our worst player, and he had a few good moments. I'm just not. I don't know. I'm not seeing enough. Zizzy, thank you for the super chat. AFTV only now just saw Kivior's under 23 game, hence the 7 out of 10. Oh my days, big up you, bro. If he gains 10 stone, maybe. Arteta said he likes Fabio. He paid 35 million for him. He's got to say that, hasn't he? It's his first season in a new league, yeah, but not seeing a lot from him. So we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Still got time, but I need to see more. Let's talk about the front three. Bukayo Saka. I don't think Saka was very good yesterday. I'm going to be honest. I think Fabio was better than Saka, to be honest. I don't think Saka played well. I think they doubled up on him. I think they kept him quiet, and I don't think he did enough. I would probably give Saka 5.5, 5.5. I think he was pretty poor yesterday, Saka. He was predictable. Got a couple of shots off at the end. I don't think he played that well, honestly. And I don't think he should have been on the pitch for 90 minutes. There comes a time where you got to look at Saka's performances and go, Well, hang on a minute. How come he's on the pitch for 90 minutes every single game? Like, why can't he get a break? Why could we not have started Smith Rowe and played Nelson on the wing and maybe brought him on last 30 minutes? I think there has to be a time where the manager takes him out of the team. People were saying in the chat yesterday, yeah, but he's 21, blah, blah, blah. Listen, it don't matter. Jack Wilshere was 21 and people thought he could play every week. 2 years later, his legs were mash up. So I think a lot of it now, Arteta needs to pull him out certain games. Now we've drawn the game, we've probably got to go full strength on Thursday. He'll play on Sunday against Fulham, probably play 90. We're going to have to go full strength probably, or close to full strength to beat Sporting. So he'll play in that game. We then play Crystal Palace. He'll play in that game. He'll go away on international duty with England. He'll probably start both games, right wing. So he'll play for England twice. I think one of them's away in Italy. He'll come back. So he ain't getting a break until the end of the season. So I think there's got to be games where last 20, you're bringing him off. Maybe in certain games you start him on the bench. I don't know. You've got to manage him a little bit better, I think. Let's go to Reece Nelson. I mean, you could give Saka a 6, but I thought he was quiet. I thought he was very easily managed, is what I would say. And his standards are very high. You could give him a 6, but I've given him a 5.5. Let's go Reece Nelson. He was on a high after the wonder goal at the weekend, came into the team, started off very lively, did some really good runs at the start, but he faded. Let's be real, he faded as the game went on. It's not easy. It's not easy for him. I thought he was okay. He came off towards the end. Where am I going with this? 6.5 probably. What would you give Reece, people? 6 for Reece, 6 again, 7 for Reece, 3 for Reece, 6. But if the player don't want to rest, but that's down to the manager. Manager's got to do it. Average performance. He was making good runs, but wasn't found. Maybe a 6. We'll give him a 6.25. 6.25. 6.25 people for Reece Nelson. Martinelli. Again, this rating confuses me. Martinelli. Because on one hand, I'm like, you should have passed to Fabio Vieira. That's a tap-in. You got moved to the left wing. The manager clearly wasn't happy. On the flip side, you nearly scored one of the goals of the season. I actually think he should score. Just chip the keeper or hit it. Okay, the keeper's come out. He's not expecting St. Just to keep up with him. How quick did he look on that run, by the way? I'm telling you, Martinelli's like 92, 93 pace on FIFA. You don't even need a hunter card. Nomad said Saka running marathons for 2 years needs a rest. But at the end of the day, Martinelli's got to produce. Everything that Martinelli does has to lead to end product. That is the difference between being Adama Traore and Mo Salah. Adama Traore is dangerous. If you're playing against Adama Traore, it's dangerous. If you're playing against Saint Maximum, it's dangerous. They're active. But what makes them just lively instead of being top players is they lack end product. 2 years ago, 3 years ago, Traore was being linked with £75 million moves. Now, you probably get him for 12 million, 15 million. Because people have realised, yeah, man, you're quick, you're strong, you're active. There's no end product. Now, he's got to make sure that the end product. Lift your head up, my brother. I love Martinelli. You know I do. He's up there as one of my favourite players. I think he can become a superstar. You have to play with your head up. He gets the ball, head down, runs. One dimension. You can't do that. Sometimes slow down, sometimes pass. He's got so much speed. Just work on that game intelligence and you can be a superstar. So I'm not sure how to rate him, to be honest. Snake Eye said, Big C, I think there is a clause in his contract that he cannot sub him off once he is on the pitch. Saka needs a break at some point. Let's not kill it. Some players have got clauses in the contract, you know, they can't be substituted. TMB said, Martinelli is an example of how we overthink once we are close to the box. Odegaard too. Listen, I know he's got goals this season. He's big up TMB as well. He's our top goal scorer, I think, in the Prem. So he is But that going from 10-15 to 20-25. Remember when Mane signed for Liverpool? Live wire, Southampton, 10-12 goals a season. People saying he's a little bit rags. As he got the end product, his game went up and up and up. He understood his game even more and his qualities. And instead of getting 12 goals, he was getting 20 goals, 25. Salah was lively, gets 25, 30 now. So if Martinelli can work on that more, if you're going to play him through the middle, he's going to need more time. He's going to need more time. You know, you can't put him in there once or twice and then say, oh, you know, he's not good enough. It takes a long time to adjust to playing as a striker. You're the focal point. A lot of players, they like that touchline being next to them. Because as a player, everything, if you play left wing, everything is on the right-hand side of you or in front of you. The right back's in front. Everything else is on the right-hand side. On the left side is the touchline. So you've got that safety that nobody is going to tackle you from that side. Once you go central, the game is all around you. Defenders behind you, to the right, to the left, centre mids in front of you. You need a different type of game understanding to play central. With your back to goal, look after the ball. So it will take time. If he eventually becomes a striker, he will need a lot of games, a lot of training, a lot of work to understand that. So I'll probably still give Martinelli a 6. But that end product has to be better. But I love the run. I love the run. I love that aggression. Well, I don't think we have enough of that in this team, if I'm being honest. And that's why I'm always talking about players like Zaha. I'm not saying Zaha is who I would necessarily go for. I think we need more players in this team that can get the ball and make two players have to come and mark them because they're scared of them. And I think Martinelli he's got that, you know, and Saka's got that. True, well said, Curtis. I appreciate it. I know I was waffling on her there a little bit. Miguel Big C, can you train a football brain, or do you think it comes natural? I think it's a combination of the two. I think you'll have elements of understanding, but you can definitely learn from a good coach. And when you're at a young age, and, you know, good coaches will teach you a lot and help you see the game differently, you know. Ten Hag got a specialist for Rashford. Nelly needs the same. Yeah. You know, Rashford apparently works with some individual coach, and I think they got Benny McCarthy in and somebody else to work with him. I mean, Benny McCarthy was a decent striker. But listen, this is why sometimes I think I'd love to see Thierry Henry working at Arsenal, just working with the strikers. Or Ian Wright working with the strikers and tap into their brain. But we don't seem to have that at Arsenal. We don't seem to have a lot of the ex-pros within the club. Can you imagine Thierry coaching Martinelli in that left-hand side kind of striker channel? Yeah, Benny McCarthy has been doing it at Man United. So fair play to him. He's transformed Rashford. Look at what Rashford's producing this season. Let's go into the substitutes, people. Let's go into the substitutes. Let me talk about Tommy Asaldinho coming on, nutmegging, man. Do you know what? I'm going to give Tommy Asu a high rating. I'm going to give him a 7 because I gave 7.5 for man of the match. Because, you know, Tommy Asu, it's very easy to forget how good he was for us last season. He was one of the best right-backs in the league last year, and sometimes when somebody comes in and does well, as Ben White has done, it's very easy to forget what the previous guy did for you. And he came on at left-back, and I thought he was fantastic. Dropped a little nutmeg, defended well. I thought he did really well. Marcus Edwards then got took off, so I give him a 7 out of 10. I really enjoyed his performance yesterday. Another very good performance from him after actually a disappointing performance the other week when he started. So big up man like Tommy Cafu, man. Really enjoyed that performance from him. That was the one we know and love. And as I said, man, some players, they rely on the fact of starting every week. That belief that the coach puts his arm around you and says, listen, you're starting on Saturday. That gives you something else. When you're turning up, you think, well, listen, if Ben White's fit on Sunday, I'm going to be on the bench. Psychologically, it does damage you a little bit as a player, and some players really struggle with that. So big up man like Tommy Asu. I thought he was fantastic when he came off the bench. Gabriel. I mean, I always say sometimes your stock rises the most when you're not in the team. Now, Kivior played 71 minutes yesterday. And straight away, the thing I'm thinking, when Gabriel comes on, I'm thinking, yes, now I feel comfortable. Now I see the difference in quality. I'm not saying that Kivior is finished or he won't make it at Arsenal. I don't know. But what I'm saying is I felt that, okay, we've gone up a level now. It's serious. Yeah, Gabriel's on the pitch. He's been the best defender at this club since the World Cup. Before the World Cup, I was critical of individual errors he was making. Since the World Cup, he has been fantastic for me. He only came on for 19 minutes, but I'll give him a 7. I think he's a top quality player. I actually think Gabriel has potential captain material in the future. And I would say with Thiago Silva, with his injury and stuff like that, I would like to see Gabriel get an opportunity in that Brazil team. But anyway, that's for them to contend with. Thomas Partey came on for Jorginho. I give Gabriel a 7, by the way, maybe even a 7.5. Partey came on for Jorginho, kept the ball well, won a few tackles, wasn't overly involved. But again, it was just that comfort blanket again of he's here now. Him and Xhaka. That's the solid midfield. We cannot afford Thomas Partey to get injured this season. If we're going to win the league, I think Thomas Partey needs to play every Premier League game. Especially the big games, because I don't see how, with that lack of energy in midfield, we can get away with it. He come on, he was solid as usual. Solid 7. Emile Smith-Rowe came on. He played in the middle of midfield in the 8 role. Didn't get on the ball that much. I'll give him a standard 6, people. I think with Smith-Rowe, it's just about getting him fit at the moment. He got another 19 minutes, and that's what we need. That's what we need to get him fit. He's an influential player. He can make a big difference in this team if we can get him fit. In terms of the manager, I'll give the manager a 6. I think he made possibly... I mean, he needed to make some changes, so I can't criticise him too much. And I did say I would have benched Partey for this game, but I'll give him a 6. I think Saka could have come off. Putting Fabio Vieira false 9, I just think was insane. That was ludicrous, and I'm not talking about the song Area Codes with Nate Dogg back in the day, people. I won't sing it. It might offend some people, the chorus. If you know, you know. Cone Man Music gets a 6, and that's a kind 6, because playing Fabio Vieira false 9 could have easily got him a 5. Anyway, let's move on, people. Let's move on. People saying in the comments that Gary Lineker is leaving Match of the Day. I don't know if this is true. I know there's been some controversy around him this week. You know, because he tweeted some stuff on Twitter, and yeah, Gary Lineker will stand down from presenting Match of the Day after an agreement was reached about his social media use. I mean, listen, let me not say too much. I won't say too much. I like Lineker, but listen, you know, we live in a world nowadays. You can't say too much, man. Everyone's offended. But what he said, I don't think he. What he said was always going to offend people. Yeah, bam, man. What a tune, by the way. What a tune. Yeah, listen. You're going to say things on social media that are openly critical of people, then there will be a backlash. It's unfortunate. I think you're better off nowadays just keeping those opinions to yourself. Unfortunately. It'll go to BT Sport. It'll probably continue on there anyway. So Gary Lineker is stepping down from Match of the Day as presenter. Who are they going to get to present it? Just anyone but Jermaine Genius, please. Anybody but Jermaine Genius. Just don't do it. He'll have a Tottenham kit on and shin pads. Anyway, let's move on. No more Lineker on Match of the Day, people. Let's talk about the FA. We've got away with one, people. Finally. We've managed to get away with something. Curtis, send in your CV. I'm ready, man. I'm ready, Match of the Day. But nah, they'll probably I don't know who they'll get actually. It'll be interesting. He should come to Curtis Short. Why is he stepping? I think they've stepped him down. The FA will not be taking any further action against Arsenal celebrations after Reece Nelson's last gasp winning goal against Bournemouth last weekend. Finally, we get away with something. I mean, it's hardly worth talking about. It's not major news, is it? What could they do? I think where the problem was that the coaches ran onto the pitch, and I think they're very funny about coaching staff and people from the outside running on the pitch. But obviously, at least they've used common sense for once, which doesn't happen very often. I can't lie. Speaking of common sense not being so common, people. A number of you have been asking about tickets. Can I get tickets? I say, listen, man, tickets are mad right now. But look at this. And I did see this earlier. Big up South London's Finest who reminded me of this. But tickets for the last game of the season against Wolves are selling for €4,999 on StubHub, people. £5,000. £5,000 because, like I said, people are setting up bots online and getting all the tickets and reselling them on these websites. Now, there are people out there buying them because people are thinking, well, hang on, that could be one of the most historic games in recent history. That's last home game of the season, last game. We could be playing Wolves to win the title. £5,000. Let's manipulate the fan base. I mean, listen, as I said to people, anybody who's a Red member, I mean, I feel sorry for people. People are basically spending £35 for no reason to get a little 10% discount because it's so hard to get tickets at the moment. The guy I share the season ticket with, listen, £5,000. I'll take £2,500. Nah, listen, he'll go to that or I'll go to that. But this is ridiculous. And I'm sorry if I'm saying this, right? If anybody from Arsenal's watching this, because I've heard before that Arsenal, people who work for Arsenal, they watch a lot of streams, content creators, various content creators. The football club have to do something to stop this from happening because this is scandalous. This is scandalous. This is not fair on fans being manipulated and paying crazy prices to go and watch their team. They need to change the system. And they need to make it more accessible for fans to get tickets. People are getting Red memberships for absolutely no reason. So, yeah, this is ridiculous. This is just ridiculous. £5,000 for a ticket. I mean, what are you supposed to do? My mum wanted to take me to first ever Arsenal match. A treat I had to break to it probably wouldn't be possible. Mortgage pay. It's crazy, bro. It's absolutely insane. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. But £5,000 for a ticket. We're having the same problem over here in the States. The common person is getting hosed. It's mad. So sad. Was not like this at Highbury. It's sad, people. But anyway, please, unless you've got crazy money, don't be spending that kind of dough. It's just not worth it. Anyway, speaking of dough, let's talk about this guy. Absolute fraudulence. He's probably looking up at all the money he's got. Arsenal owner, we spoke about this briefly yesterday, but I wanted to go into a little bit more detail today. Arsenal owner Stan Kroenke has seen his net worth rocket by 2.2 billion euros in the last month. Just in the last month, people. 2.2 billion euros, just short of £2 billion. This brother has made in a month. The American is the 48th wealthiest man in the US, and the return of Champions League football will only bolster his coffers. Apparently, Champions League qualification will make the club upwards of £35 million at the beginning of next season. I mean, listen. People complain when I have a go at this guy. Not everyone. You know, when I'm having little meltdowns and saying, why does this guy not spend 80, 90 million when we need it? Why is it all installments, Klarna, layaway business? The brother is rich. He is rich. When I say he's got his own money, I mean he's got his own money. Coming to America settings. If you're with me, you're with me, people. The king of Zamundo Hakeem. If you're there, you're there. If you're not, then I apologize. He has got dough. He's worth over 11.5 billion. His wife is worth 13 billion. She owns Walmart. 20 billion in that yard, people. And I'm here saying, yo, can we get a little 80 million stand for a centre midfielder? Just 80 million, bro. You got 23 billion in your house. Can we get 80 mil? Nah. You can get 40 and then 20 and then 10 and 5 and, you know, a packet of crisps and a meal deal. We'll pay it in installments. Edu's flying to Portugal on Ryanair flights with no legroom. Going over there to do business. No private jet. Ryanair. No disrespect to Ryanair, because if you ever want to sponsor the channel, then we can work. But the legroom's a little bit mad still. Edu's flying on Ryanair flights to go and watch Arsenal play. Todd Bowley's on a private jet, first class, unlimited drinks. This guy's buying his own can of drink, 7-Up. Sorry, Man U fans, I know you won yesterday. The 7-Up joke's still going to run for a little while. Getting barbecues from Iceland and B&M people. It's mad. Oh, I can't do the João Felix loan. 9 million. He's too expensive. It will cripple the club. But he's made 2.2 billion in a month. I mean, come on, people. Come on. The money, the increase in revenue is down to LA Rams winning the Super Bowl and the increase in merchandise sales. Money now filtering through from the SoFi Stadium. Or is it SoFi or SoFi Stadium? Which is one of the best stadiums in the world. Also, Arsenal now being able to have full stadiums. Obviously, after COVID, season tickets, everything was empty. He's making dough, people. He's making absolute dough. And as I said yesterday, Arsenal need their biggest ever transfer window this summer. In my opinion, we got to break £200 million easily. I'm expecting us to break our transfer record this summer. Because you look at that team yesterday that turned up. If you turned up in the Champions League with that team, it would be brutal. It would not be nice. So he should buy Man United, says Bleck. Listen, if he's going to stay in charge of this football club, which he probably will, let's be honest, the fan base ultimately are not interested in getting rid of him. We need him to invest. Big time invest. Proper investment. Spending 120 million, 130 in a summer window, that ain't what's required. I need to see 220 million. 2 centre mids. Maybe a striker, South London saying, attacking right back, a winger. That's going to cost you 200 million plus. We need the war chest, the real war chest. The Walmart shake. When I was in America, actually, I went in Walmart. I was like, oh, I feel a bit naughty in here. This is like Kroenke's wife's. I don't know if I want to buy anything. But it was a hot day. I was thirsty and, you know, they had a good drink section in there. So, you know, I had to get a juice. I'm sorry. Mishak said SoFi, WWE will be there for WrestleMania this year. We'll make more money. Stan is the man. Where is that for Arsenal? The problem is Arsenal is down on the pecking order for him. This is the problem. And unless he's under pressure, he's not going to increase the investments because he doesn't need to. Because if we win the league this year, he's going to be like, damn, I only giving this manager 100 million a season and the brothers winning the league, you know, so I don't need to go mad with the investment. So anyway, let's see. Bro, I felt naughty. I walked in Walmart. I said, damn, Stan's wife owns this. Should I buy anything from here? But I said, boy, it's hot out there, man. It's 30 something. Nah, I need a drink. Let me get a drink. So, Stan, I put some money in your pocket. So, put some back in the club's pocket. But, it is what it is. We need a shopping spree, Kroenke. Josh, get on it. The one thing I will say, and I listen, I think Josh has more interest in Arsenal than Stan ever had, because I think Josh has got this thing of, I'm the son and I want to prove that I can do it. I don't think Stan ever really cared. He's hardly ever at games. He's old, you know. He's got more interest in the American football team. I think Josh wants to be like, listen, you know, Daddy's little rich boy. I can go and be a hero over there at Arsenal. Look what I did, Dad. You know what I mean? I think he wants to do that. So, yeah, maybe we should ask the wife. Maybe we should go in Walmart and say, oh, man, we just need $1 billion. Sort it out. But anyway, will Stan go big in the summer? Will we actually get the war chest for once? Or is it just him fleecing the club, making money, and drip feeding us crumbs off the plate, people? So we will have to see. We will have to see, people. Barcelona have been charged officially over referee payments. It's officially been done now. It's come out from AFP. Spanish prosecutors have charged Barcelona over payments the club made to a former referee-in-chief, which was upwards of £1.2 million. Now, I'm sorry, people. I'm sorry, right? And I don't like to throw shade at football clubs, and Barcelona are a footballing giant. I'll be honest, I've been to the Nou Camp. They're a club that I admired growing up. I loved Brazilian players. And they had Romario, Ronaldinho, Ronaldo, Rivaldo. You know, they had them all, Neymar. But this is scandalous. And for me, they need to get something serious done to them here. You're paying off referees. They had Messi at the time, bruv. You had Lionel Messi. You don't need to pay off refs. You've got Messi. What's going on? So, for me, this is scandalous. This is like, they should be getting a serious ban for this. Seriously, man. This is serious cheating. And I said this a long time ago. I always liked Barcelona. But the second that referee sent off Van Persie, I was done with them. Said, no, I'm done. Finished. Growing up, I always liked a team in every country. I was like, right, that's my team in Italy. That's my team in Spain. When I seen that, I was like, nah. Nah, that's not normal. That ain't normal, what's going on here. They're cheats. And clearly, UEFA Lona, as they're calling them, 1.2 million was put into the chief referee's bank account by an unknown source that was later revealed to have been a third-party ownership of Barcelona. The club will face serious sanctions in due course. I mean, if UEFA and that are involved, they'll probably get a heavy fine and they'll wriggle their way out of it. So, let's see. That is serious corruption. Pep wasn't there at the time, to be fair. 2016 to 2018. So, he'd already left. Tip of the iceberg. Barcelona are cheats. I hope they get relegated. Big up, Ty. It's been going on for years in the Prem as well. I mean, listen, I don't want to... I'm not going to say too much here, but I know a few players and a few ex-players. And one of the players who I know quite well, I said to him one time, I said, have you known cheating go off in the Premier League? And he said, there's been occasions where he's heard things like, betting scandals going on. So a betting scandal that they used to have that got rinsed, and a lot of gambling companies have stopped this. So they would do a bet that the ball would go out of play within the first 10 seconds. Very easy bet to manipulate. The only problem you've had, if you don't win the coin toss and get the kickoff, the other team kicks off, you might not get the ball for 10 seconds. But if you win the coin toss, heads or tails, you kick off, make it look like you're trying to play a long ball over the top. You overhit it. Ball goes out for a throw-in. Bang. And he said a lot of players were manipulating this at one stage. And it even got to the point where clubs would both agree on it. So you would say, listen, if you kick off, kick it out. If we kick off, we'll kick it out. You put that money on, I'll put that money on, and we'll split it. It was happening, people, because a lot of these players back in the day, they were earning money, but not the kind of money that they're earning now. You know, top players could have still been getting 20, 30 grand a week. If you're on 20 grand, 40% tax, you're taking home 12 grand a week. If you're living a high life, 12 grand a week's disappearing, you know. So these guys were putting bets on and making big money out of it. So it happens. There is corruption in the game. Big up Curtis, the Walmart bag juice. Thanks for the... Yeah, listen, man. I bet Tony. Easy money, bro. Easy money. No major corruption. Just make it look like you're trying to play a long pass. Overhit it. Goes out for a throw. no one would ever talk about it. You might have 30, 40 grand on that. Make a couple hundred grand, easy money, man. But I think they blocked that bet now. Smash the likes, people. 2,000 of you in the chat. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Remember, for everyone just tuning in, I've took the plunge. We are now on TikTok, Curtis Shaw TV. Type it in. Follow me on TikTok. The content's going to be even better on there. We're doing split screen reaction. So half of the screen will be the goal and half will be my reaction. First video went up today. I'm going to start putting more things up there over the weekend, people. Watch along tomorrow, Manchester City against Crystal Palace. I've said for over a week, I'm speaking into existence, City will drop points at Palace. Trust me, Zaha's back, Patrick Vieira, it's going to happen. And Arsenal watch along on Sunday, of course, against Fulham. Anyway, let's move on. Couple of stories before we round up, people. Let's talk about that man himself, Mr. Moises Caicedo. He has signed a new contract with Brighton. So apparently we didn't hound him out of the football club because we wanted to stay friends with Brighton. And then Brighton turned around and gave him a new contract. Curtis is going to teach us how to break. Bro, you ain't going to see me breakdancing, you know. You ain't going to see me, you know, getting sturdy or none of that on there. I can't lie. We're going to try and get a member stream in this week. Maybe tomorrow. If not, it'll be Monday. Definitely. But yeah, I'd appreciate if you follow me on TikTok. Let's hit 1,000 today. That should be light work. I know plenty of you are on there. Steve Cole said, it must be a huge sacrifice to miss these games at this stadium, Curtis. But doing live watch-alongs, I know business comes first, but still big up. Do you know what it is, bro? And I'm glad you've said that, and I'll talk about it. You know me, I'd say I'm a pretty open book. When I initially started on YouTube, it was nothing more than just doing what I was doing on the phone with my friends after the game, just talking about it. Then obviously during lockdown, the channel kind of grew. Then it kind of led to watch-alongs. Then I really enjoyed them. Then we came out and it's like, do you go to the game or do you do the watch-along? And that, so listen, towards the end of the season, if we're really pushing for the title and it looks like it's happening, I might go to a couple of games. But I'll be honest, I'm somebody, I don't like the cold weather. I'm going to be totally honest with you. Right now, we've had snow. It's freezing in the UK. I'm not in any rush to sit outside and watch a game of football right now when it's like 1 degree. So I'm more than happy to stay in the yard and stay warm. But yeah, listen, I enjoy what I'm doing. I'm not going to complain, man. It's a blessing. You know, I'd rather build the channel and then and get it to where it needs to get to. But big up to you, bro. Anyway, let's talk about Brighton. According to Terra Deportes, Arsenal are still interested in Moises Caicedo. Brighton value him at £90 million after the club renewed his contract. I mean, you just couldn't write it, could you? You could not write this. We won't buy him because we don't want to affect our relationship with them. Oh, friends. Oh, football friends. Oh, bestest friends forever and ever. And then what do they turn around and do? They give him a new contract. And now we ain't going to be... Now they've put the price up. The manager was making out like, yeah, listen, we won't stand in his way in the summer. You know, if he wants to go, we'll let him go. And they give him a new contract. And now, instead of 70, they want 90 million for him. So you couldn't write it. You could not write it, could you? Don't worry, we'll stay friends and we'll sign him in the summer. They give him a new contract and bump the price up. And now it'll be probably even more difficult. His new contract is until 2027. So he signed a new 4.5-year contract. He was earning £15,000 a week. It's believed he's on around £50,000 a week now. So more than trebled his deal. Remember the old, I've got 10 siblings and I need to feed them and blah, blah, blah. So, I mean, listen, I rate him. I thought he to be honest, the guy that we're going for, Declan Rice, Caicedo destroyed him on the weekend. I don't know if anybody watched the highlights. But Caicedo bossed that game. He won man of the match. Ian Wright did a little focus on him on Match of the Day. And he's so energetic. He gets all around the pitch. He's good on the ball. They're very smart, Brighton. They're very smart. What he's probably done, he's probably gone to him and said, listen, you're on 15 grand a week. Let's treble your wages. I'll give you a nice signing on fee. And if anybody pays what I want for you, I'll let you go in the summer. But then he'll tell clubs I want 90 million. And will anyone pay 90 million? Maybe Chelsea. I don't think we will. So I don't think we would pay 90 million for him. I'm going to be honest. Unless he goes to Chelsea, I don't think it's happening. The bloke was on 1.5k a week. He needed a pay rise. Bro, get him. Y'all said Kroenke got 2 billion. What's 90? He should, but I don't think he will. Is he worth 90 million? Probably not anyway, but we know it's an inflated market now. That's the problem. Money talks, dirty cash. I want you, dirty cash. I need you more. Money talks to me. Money talk. Just pay the money, man. Just pay it. We got to go big this summer. This is the thing. If we win the title, we've actually got to go even bigger because you can't win a title then finish fifth. You've got to stay up there. The fans will be wanting to win the Champions League and stuff like that. We'll be dreaming. So, Caicedo. Personally, I think the club are going for Declan Rice. Maybe Declan Rice is just a smoke screen. You know, maybe it's just a smoke screen. We'll have to see. We'll have to see, people. 90 million. It depends on the structure of the deal, because the reality is this. You can buy a player for 90 million, but only pay 30 million up front and pay 60 over 5 years. That doesn't seem like a bad deal. You can buy a player for 60 million and have to pay 55 million of it up front. So at the time, that's a more expensive deal than the 90 million one. So if you get a good payment structure, I would rather sign Caicedo than Declan Rice. I'm going to be honest. But I think we're going for Declan Rice. I just think because he's got a year left on his deal, his contract's running down, there's a willingness for him to leave. They've clearly had conversations, Arteta and Rice, or his agent. I think they're going to go for Declan Rice. I think he'll be a little bit cheaper than 90 million because of the year left. And I think that's the guy they're going for. But I still think Chelsea will be lurking in the background for Declan Rice because they've been linked with him for years. I don't see why they would just drop their guard at the last minute. So, yeah, interesting. It is an interesting one. We might get Kante for free. Don't get excited. Nah, it's about 5 years too late on that deal. 90 million for Caicedo is a no-go area. 90 million banter. Zubamendi release clause, easy work. 50 million release clause for Zubamendi. 45 million would probably get you Milinkovic. I reckon Declan Rice will cost 75, 80 million. I've got to be honest. But I've still got question mark. Ruben Neves, you could get him possibly. I rate Ruben Neves. Rice and Savic would be good business. We need mobility. We need somebody who can run. Because you look at Jorginho, you look at Xhaka, they are not mobile. Partey's mobile, not massively, but he is. But he's a bit injury prone. Our most mobile centre midfielder is probably Mohamed El Neni. But we don't want Mohamed El Neni starting, especially in the Champions League. So I think we'll go Declan Rice. And listen, if we sign him, I do think it's a positive. And like a lot of people have said, a lot of West Ham fans have said to me, listen, he will go up another level when he plays in a better side. He's playing in a poor West Ham team that are in a relegation battle with David Moyes playing defensive football. Rice does look a lot better when he plays for England. So we'll have to see on that one. I think we'll go for Rice. Caicedo at 90 million I think is a little bit much. We have been getting linked with McAllister as well from Brighton. I think that's more paper talk at this stage. But we'll have to see on that one, people. I'm going to round up there, people. I've been on for just over an hour and 10 minutes. Big up to each and every one of you in the chat. Like I said, tomorrow we'll be doing a watch-along for Crystal Palace against Manchester City. Kickoff is at 5:30. So tune in for that. We'll be live from about 5:15. On Sunday, Fulham against Arsenal, 2 o'clock kickoff. I'll be live from 1:15 p.m. and we will get a member stream in over the next few days as well. Keep an eye on the community page. Make sure you go and follow me on TikTok, Curtis Shaw TV. We are live and direct reaction videos. I'm going to throw loads of content on there, and make sure you follow the Clips channel as well. Thank you very much for your support. Enjoy your Friday. I will see you all tomorrow. Wilfried Zaha FC. Come on, Crystal Palace. Enjoy your Friday, people. Bless.